Akira was born into poverty. He didn't have a coach, or the carbon fiber plated shoes that the city boys wore. What he had was a stillness that bordered on the unnatural. While the other children played with discarded tires or kicked balls made of wound-up rags, Akira would sit on a strong stone, his back against a crumbling brick wall, and watch. Akira watched the neighborhood's fastest boy, Jun. He was a legend in the district, a teenager who could outrun the transit police and weave through a crowded market without touching a single shoulder. To the casual observer, Jun was just fast. To Akira, Jun was a complex machine of efficiency. Akira noticed the way Jun's jaw never clenched, even at full tilt. He noticed that Jun didn't slap the ground, he caressed it, his feet spending the absolute minimum amount of time in contact with the earth. But the real secret, the one that Akira spent 3 summers decoding, was the rhythm of the air. In the heat of the afternoon, Akira began to experiment. He discovered that when he ran, he was fighting himself. He was inhaling in desperate, jagged gulps that tightened his chest and slowed his blood. He remembered Jun's chest, steady, rhythmic, almost musical. Akira began to practice a 3-step in, 2-step out breathing cadence. He would walk to the market, breathing in time. He would carry water buckets, breathing in time. Eventually, he would run the length of the railway, the red dust swirling around him, his heart rate low, his lungs working like a bellows in a blacksmith's forge. He wasn't just running, he was becoming a part of the atmosphere. With the savings he earned from part-time jobs since childhood, Akira entered an ordinary national university. The university was a different planet. The air smelled of freshly cut grass and expensive espresso. The athletes here didn't look like they had ever known hunger. They wore synchronized watches that tracked their sleep cycles and sipped neon-colored recovery drinks. Akira, wearing a faded cotton shirt and shoes with the soles glued back on, felt the familiar weight of the outsider. One day after class, Akira walked into the track club and heard a loud voice coming from inside. It was Hiroki, the university's star sprinter. Hiroki was everything Akira was not: loud, confident, and wealthy. He had been coached by Olympians since he was 12. Akira joined the university track club as a non-competitive walk-on. He was the lowest person in the hierarchy, the man who for transporting bottled water. But while Hiroki and the others preened for the scouts, Akira was in a state of constant, humble interrogation. He would approach the long-distance runners after their sessions. "That lean you have when you round the bend?" Akira would ask, his eyes focused and respectful. "You shift your weight to the outer edge of your left foot. Does that reduce the torque on your knee, or is it about maintaining the center of gravity?" The runners, flattered by the attention of the quiet guy, would explain the biomechanics. Akira would nod, absorb, and then go to the track at 11 p.m., when the lights were dimmed, to integrate that lean into his slum-breathing rhythm. He approached the sprinters about their explosive starts. He approached the yoga instructors about hip mobility. He was a thief of wisdom, stealing the best parts of everyone around him to build a mosaic of a champion. The atmosphere in the track club grew tense as the national and intercollegiate qualifiers approached. The university was under immense pressure to perform, and Hiroki was the center of that pressure. During a high-intensity session, Akira was arranged as a backup candidate. The day of the qualifiers arrived with a brutal, unseasonal heatwave. The track temperature soared. One by one, the elite athletes began to falter. The perfect science of their training hadn't accounted for the psychological toll of the suffocating air. Hiroki, the star, was the first to break. At the 800-meter mark of the final race, his high-tech monitor began to beep, a warning of heat exhaustion. His breathing became frantic, his jaw clenched, and he collapsed onto the turf, his body rejecting the strain. As a substitute, Akira had no choice but to be sent onto the field. Akira stood up. He didn't stretch with the theatricality of the others. He simply closed his eyes and synchronized his lungs. As he stepped onto the line, the crowd murmured. He looked like an amateur. He looked like a mistake. The gun fired, and the pack surged forward. For the first 2 laps, Akira stayed in the middle. He was observing. He felt the heat, not as an enemy, but as a familiar presence from his childhood. He watched the backs of the leaders. He saw their muscles tightening, saw the panic in their eyes as the perfect conditions they had trained for vanished. At the 1,000-meter mark, Akira felt the shift. The wall had hit the group. This was where science ended and the spirit began. He didn't accelerate in the traditional sense. He simply stopped resisting. While the others fought the track, Akira became a part of it. He glided past the third-place runner, his face a mask of absolute serenity. He moved past the second-place runner, a man who was gasping for air like a fish out of water. In the final 200 meters, Akira was alone against the clock. He wasn't running for a medal, or for the university, or to spite Hiroki. He was running to honor the boy who sat on the crate in the red dust. He was running because he had finally learned that poverty wasn't a lack of resources, it was a surplus of focus. He crossed the finish line in a blur of motion. The clock stopped at a time that shattered the national record. The silence in the stadium was absolute, followed by a roar that shook the stands. Akira achieved a first-place finish, but this was his first time competing in an important tournament. Akira looked back at the track, where the other runners were being treated with ice packs and oxygen masks. He saw Hiroki watching him from the sidelines, his face a mix of shock and a new, burgeoning respect. When Akira accepted the award, he remained humble, telling those who had once doubted him and spoken coldly to him, "You are the ones who made me." Akira wasn't just a top athlete. He was a man who had turned the void of his past into the fuel for his future. He had realized the ultimate philosophical truth of the journey: hard work is the engine, but observation is the map. And the man who is humble enough to be a student of everyone he meets will eventually become the master of everything he touches.
If you enjoyed this story, please share it with others and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for your time.